Hi guys, welcome to Lovecast the podcast. I'm your host Pixie, and with me is my co-host Alexa, and we have two guest hosts with us today from BL and Chill podcast, Kim and Banana.
Yay!
Yay!
Guys.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. Yes.
This is gonna be so much fun. We're gonna do an unscripted episode, which means that basically we don't know what
Anything
we're
goes.
gonna do, but it's gonna be fun. So me and Kim and Banana have been doing IG lives talking about Playboy, which has been super fun. So we thought that since we had like the slot open very last minute, I sent them a message like this morning about this.
You say fine after the live. In fact, we do.
They're not hard to get to come and do stuff. So it's good.
Thank you guys for being
Like,
up
guys, we've
for
got
it.
to stop talking about Playboy. Like, we have to leave now.
Gotta go
Oh
talk about
yeah.
other
We were
BLs.
talking Playboy, and we were just like, okay, we have other stuff to do, so we need to end this now. No, this is great. So we've had a lot of fun with the IG lives. If you haven't seen those, be sure to check it out. It's every Sunday at roughly 2 p.m. if nothing
Central time.
else happens.
If nothing else happens.
Yeah.
We'll keep everyone informed. Yeah, so I thought like since we have you guys here, I thought like you've been going to cons. And I, as like a Norwegian living in Norway, like we don't get cons, we don't get K-pop, we don't get anything. We're
You get
just
K-pop?
no, we don't get K-pop. Nothing.
Sad.
It's a very sad existence.
We just get cold.
Be very cold. So I'm freezing my ass off.
With no K-pop concerts or anything to soften
I'm
the blow.
wrapped in a blanket because I'm so cold. So that's my life. It's a sad existence. So I need to live vicariously through people who are luckier. And that's
Okay.
you guys. So which
Okay.
cons have you gone to first?
Okay. In a strictly BL sense, because like we were anime fans before, so we've been to numerous anime conventions. But just this year alone, we've kind of been America's really been picking up on the BL scene, and so we had the opportunity to go to BLCon Texas, and ZeeNunew happened to have their fan meet in LA, which we're in Vegas. It's only 4 hours away. I know internationally that's a lot, but
But by American
Here's the
standards,
States
that's a quick
Dude,
trip for American standards.
Dude, I drove 9 hours to see like this podcast show in Oslo, so it's fine. We're a long country. It's a tiny country. It's very long.
That's so funny. And so yeah, we got them to do that, and then we also have started doing a lot of BL cup sleeve events
Yeah.
here as well. So we've attended a couple of cup sleeve events too.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, it's really been great. Like I especially love going to these because we actually get to physically see other BL fans versus just the
Yeah.
experience online. And that's for me, it's probably been the best part is like meeting others and really getting that in-person sense of community.
Yeah.
Because yeah, just like since COVID, everything's online now, and it's like it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that pushed us to doing this podcast was because we were missing like more of a community. Like it wasn't enough just writing on a Discord together. So, but I do get that like it's something else meeting up with people. I know last year I went to see Alexa and Kayla in America, and it was It was an experience. We had so much fun. It was so much fun. And being able to sit in the same room and film like an episode for the podcast, it was magical.
Yeah.
No, it was a really cool experience, and it's definitely one of those moments where you're like, this is what I've been saying to everyone, because like my mom told like my whole family about the podcast, so now like I had to go out of town for on Friday for a funeral, which is like sad, but you know, I was seeing all the family from my mom's side, and everyone was like, "How's the podcast? How's Thailand?" And so like every time, every time like I see my family, I'm like, it's like those moments where I basically say like, this thing that I had like no expectations for has like become something so different, where I'm like meeting people from Norway and Australia, and we're like going to
Yeah.
different countries together. So it's just kind of like that experience of like the thing that existed online for you also exists offline now. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
kind of like similar with what it comes to when it's like comes to going to cons, because like
Yeah.
I haven't done any BL stuff because I don't do anything on the East Coast, but that's fine.
Yet.
Maybe soon.
Yet.
Maybe soon.
It's getting closer,
It's,
okay?
it's getting
It's closer
closer.
for you. Just saying.
In 2024, fingers crossed. But like I have done like the KCON. I went to KCON like 4 different times on in New York and all that stuff, and like my real life best friends that I like live here in my city that I hang out with all the time. Like we met on Tumblr because of K-pop. So it's just like one of those things where it's like you're in a space with like, and it's same with just like K-pop concerts in general, which is like the main thing I have experience with, I guess, in the fandom space, is like being in this space with all these people who like are passionate about the same thing you are. Like the energy is just like so nice to be within. Like you don't have to feel like I think at this point in my life I've moved past like feeling ashamed for liking K-pop and like being a fandom person and things like that. But like when you're in those spaces, like you don't even have to think about how other
It's
people are perceiving
different.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really nice.
It feels
Yes.
safe, and you being
Yeah.
able to be yourself, like completely yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a very safe space because you know you're all here for the same thing. You all love the same thing. And it's so easy to just form group conversations with everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it feels like that barrier of awkwardness that would normally exist with like approaching a person you don't really know is kind of just gone in those spaces.
yeah.
yeah.
I think because a lot of the times these things are like really shared experiences, and the things that we experience through, BL shows or K-pop or any of that, like our feelings walking away are usually so similar. So when we meet other people, it's really easy to be like, episode 3. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's
Did
no
you
need
watch
to
it yet?
really
Yeah.
yeah. But there's no real need to like preface or have to explain. Like you can just dive into the thing, right? And I
Yeah.
also think another thing about meeting people in real life is that I think that the world, kind of what you were saying, it just gets bigger, right? Like I think online there's so much going on. There's so many people talking about things, but I think the world still feels small. It's through like the lens of a computer, it's through the lens of social media. And
Yeah.
so being able to go to events and meet people, it's almost kind of like it becomes more real. Like, oh, like this thing that of course exists because I'm engaged in it, but it like exists,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it is a different feeling.
How
Absolutely.
how was the BL con for you guys? Like I know a lot of people are kind of skeptical about cons after two Filipino cons being uh, I don't have words. Ooh, Alexa, do you have words for this?
Are you talking about the one where like Guhart? I just always see the name. Went to and Earth didn't get like that one? Or
No,
are we
so
talking about
there
something
were
else?
last year there were two separate cons that were supposed to happen in the
One didn't happen.
Philippines. One did happen. I forgot that one actually did happen.
Yeah, I did.
But they were like these supposed to be like these huge cons. Like they had invited like BL artists in the 10s and 20s. And one of them like essentially turned out to be a scam. Like the people who were hosting it, like the main person just like disappeared. Like it came out that like I think it was Alex who managed Jaw First at the time and now just manages First was started tweeting like this con is supposed to be happening in like X number of days and we haven't gotten any portions of our payments yet, like they're not being upfront with us. And like a couple of days before it was happened, like they announced that it was like canceled and people would be getting their refunds. And then like the it was like a fan run like thing, but like the people who are running it just kind of like disappeared, and I don't think anyone's ever gotten their refunds from it.
No.
And then the other one that happened did happen, but it was just like very much like if you're familiar with like the Tumblr culture, like DashCon or anything like that,
the ball pit.
Very much, it was very much like that kind of situation. Like a lot of things that were promised didn't happen. There was a lot of stories of like artists who weren't Thai artists kind of getting
bad
cited for the Thai artists and things
bad
like
treatment
that. So,
treatment.
And
we did get some news that after the con as well, a lot of the actors who came down or came to the Philippines to be a part of the con didn't actually get paid.
Oh man, that's not good.
Yeah,
and they were like some of the first like conventions, like at least like promoted as conventions that were happening like outside of Thailand. So I feel like a lot of people kind of had like trust issues with international BL cons, and then I think the BL Texas Con is like the first one that I've seen at least that's actually like happened since those happened last year. So.
So I can say, so off the top, I think we're both going to say that it was a really amazing experience, and we can kind of like dive into why we felt that way. But I will say that I do think that there was one maybe expectation that people had that didn't quite work out, and I feel like maybe it's worth talking about just for the sake of people understanding like how complicated it can be to like set up conventions like this. So initially, there were actors from a new series coming out called Born to Be Y.
Yeah, they just released the pilot trailer.
Yeah, and they were supposed to physically be present, coming from Thailand. But it was really difficult managing getting their visas together. There's a bunch of different types of visas that actors need when they come. It's like it's not
even like K-pop, like depending on like performing visas, I think.
Yeah.
Is what
it's really tough, and it's a lot of coordinating. There's a lot of things that people on both ends need to do, and sometimes when you're just trying to do things like, you know how it is, it's busy, and then it ends up being like, oh no, we only have like a couple months to do this, right? And then you're just like hustling, and then sometimes you're lucky and it pans out, and sometimes, you know, the government doesn't get things back fast enough. It's like, you know, so I will say that I think that's one thing. But what they did instead, which I still felt like was amazing, is they did 2 super long, amazing video calls with everybody. And I feel like even though they weren't like physically present at the event, they still
went above and beyond.
They went above and beyond. They were there. They sang us music. And
they did a live performance.
It was so fun. So I will say that maybe some of the people who went might say like, oh man, but like we were supposed to have these actors there like live, and they weren't there. But I think that we also have to take into consideration sometimes that like, gosh, this stuff is like really hard to navigate sometimes. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's that.
I do feel, I will say, probably from like the outside looking in, because I do remember with like Tumblr's like DashCon, on the outside people are like, there's a ball pit and like what's going on, but then you had people that were actually there and they're like, no, we had an amazing time. Like, like there's 2 perspectives, and so I think there are probably people with those 2 perspectives too. Like those who did go will tell you like us, like it was amazing. It was great for like what it was, first of its kind. It was put together in like less than 6 months. Like so like given all like these factors, like we had fun. It was great. But like outside looking in, like people are probably like,
like
what even?
The biggest highlights were like just like back-to-back video calls at night.
Did you get to talk to Mech too at?
Yeah, we talked with Mech. We got to speak with the 2 lead actors from the Filipino series Stay. We also got to talk with we had 2 video calls with the Born to Be Y cast, and then we also had a video call with I believe this is Om.
I think that's his
from
name.
My Bromance.
Romance. Oh yeah,
The series.
Okay.
Gosh, I'm like reaching through my memory now.
Ooh.
And he was super sweet. He serenaded us.
Oh yeah, he
on
just busted
guitar.
like it wasn't his ass. He just pulled out his
Busted the
because we were like, "What are your hobbies?" He's like, "Oh, guitar," and then
He's
he's
just
suddenly
like,
just like,
"What?"
yeah,
Right. But the cool thing about this convention, I'll say too, is that okay, so it was small. I think a lot of people were kind of like, is this real? Is this not real? This,
Yeah.
what's
That's
gonna
why
happen?
people have like skepticism because so many
Yeah.
have been like,
Yeah, so it was small, and I would
Mhm.
say that the first day there were maybe 25 people there. The second day maybe climbed to like 35 to 45 people.
yeah,
And but what was really cool about, or I think kind of like unique about having such a small audience, is that when we had these video calls, everyone had time to ask what they wanted. Oh, we're opening Q&A. Everyone could go up and interact. Everyone could go up and do things. There was a girl there who was having like her sister like really, really loved Mech, and she was like, can you just say like hi to her? I distinctly remember this because Mech was like, oh, and he was like saying hi, and this girl was like so happy but embarrassed that she literally like clapped onto the floor and like crawled out. So
but yeah, no,
genuine.
it was like he asked for more like it was all in Thai, like asking for more details about her, and they're like talking in Thai, and then once they were done, Mech was like immediately like looked directly into the camera and like said her name, like hi, and like she just that was it. But like to be able to have that experience,
that is the Mech effect. Like we got to see that live when we were in Thailand, and dude, Alexa, do you remember that girl who came up to him well, they didn't come up to him. They were standing giggling at the side, and he noticed them and
like beckon them, like, come say hi, like, do you want a picture? Like, they were like high school girls, and they were just like
dying.
I
love him.
So
he's so funny, and it's actually because of BLCon that we reached out to him as our first interview. Because like his like you guys know, like his vibe is just
he's so fun and so chill,
so charismatic, and
we got mistaken for his new international managers while we were eating with him.
I love it.
You're like, okay. I think there's
another person. Oh,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say, I think there's something to be said for like, I don't know if managing expectations is the right phrase, but like with you saying this con was like a smaller one, like the things they offered were mainly like video calls and stuff like that. I think the issue with like specifically thinking about the two like Filipino cons that kind of did not go well was that they were very much out of their depth, and they were over promising a lot, and they were promising all these artists, and honestly I don't think their teams could manage it, and it just like fell.
The one that got completely canceled, they went to Thailand and had this photo shoot with everyone coming, and they were like, wasn't like ZeeNunew on the list, and I know Tool, Ben like, was
there were
Max
some
Tool.
big
names,
and so like I think they promised a lot, and I think it was a funding issue, and like it just like hit the point where like there were all these expectations that they couldn't meet, and they just kind of like dipped. So I think like with the BL Texas Con, as much as people might have said from the outside, like, well, what is there to it? Like, they worked within their means, which I think says a lot more than, and aside from, the group that couldn't come because of visa issues, which honestly out of their control at that point. Like, as long as they're promising what they said they were, then I think like there's a lot to be said for that compared to what some other cons have done.
And I mean I do feel like, because we were skeptical in the beginning too, we had been reached out through our Etsy shop to show up as vendors, and we were just like, we've never heard of this, like what is it, what's going on? And even us looking up information, like it was like a leap of faith to go to this convention, because the website was posted through Darby's company, which is like Darby Family Farms.
I remember looking it up.
Farm website, and you're seeing this, and I'm like, are we going to a farm? Like, we just had no idea. And then like the posters were very outdated. Like they had a lot of actors listed that didn't that weren't part of the package in the end.
Yeah.
Then that they were updated. There were no social, like dedicated social media sites for it. And yeah, we were like, we shouldn't go, especially because like this was happening right after we got back from
We literally
Thailand.
got back and it was like the next weekend.
Yeah, and we were like, but then we were like, we don't want to miss out on something like this, regardless if it's good or bad. And honestly, like I said, like it was a small setting and you're with your people, and it just became like an amazing experience. Like we met so many new friends. Everyone was just like, a lot of people came alone too, because like we just don't have people around us. And then they're always like, we just talk to our coworkers about this, or our friends, and they just smile and nod. And so like so many people made so many new friends, and just like the whole vibe there was just so positive. Like no one had anything bad to say, no one seemed grumpy about anything, like everyone was just so happy. And like honestly, like that's what we look for when we go to these types of things.
I feel like also we did a vlog of going to BLCon, and there's one part that I kind of remember in it that I must have been doing something else, but you were kind of like wandering around, like it was kind of the inside, it was between videos. I think maybe we'd been watching like Kin Porsche in the room, and then maybe everyone was just chatting afterwards. But it's really easy, I guess again, to speak to the power of community. It's really easy to go to these types of things and feel like awkward, nervous. Like it's hard to just go outside and just talk to people. But there's one part that I remember you did, and you just kind of did like a pan, and you were like, literally everyone in this room was a stranger an hour ago. And you would never know panning around that room because everybody was laughing, talking. There was like K-pop music. People were dancing to the K-pop music because they like knew the dance moves, and other people were pulling out like photo cards and stuff. And I feel like just so magical, because so many people, I think, within this probably transcends beyond BL fandom, but within fandom can feel so alone, right? You're alone, like really excited about this thing, and it is just different, I think, when you can spend those moments with other people who are, and feel kind of maybe more validated in your excitement for it, right? Yeah. But you had asked about, so in talking about the convention, were there certain things that you wanted to know about it? Like, did you want to know more about like what we did at the convention, or anything like that?
Like, what kind of stuff? I mean, obviously you mentioned the calls, but I remember looking at the website and like looking, but that was so long ago that like I would love to know like what else you guys were doing there.
Yeah.
I mean, we were mostly manning our booth.
So it was in a hotel, and we kind of had like the second floor. So there was a big
like a ballroom.
So there's a big ballroom, and then outside of the ballroom was kind of like a big open area, and in that area there were vending tables. So Jacob, who ran the event, he had a table set up, and he had imported a lot of stuff from Thailand. It was really fun. So there were like tons of like the drinks and snacks and things that we typically see in BL dramas. There was another vendor who was supposed to be able to come out, but last minute they weren't able to. So they ended up basically just shipping a whole bunch of their merch there. And we set up everything and whatnot. And that was really cool. So they had tons of stuff out there. And then we had our merch booth out as well. And apart from that, he'd also set up a section where he had like a Mama brand ramen that we always see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bacon carbonara, But he had a kind of like an open ramen bar that was for free. So
that's cool.
I feel like it was funny because my biggest takeaway from that was there were 4 flavors, only one I guess wasn't spicy.
This was really funny, actually.
And it was like out by the end of day 1, and everyone's like, we need more non-spicy food, please.
Like all those spicy things.
So me.
It's so funny. I was like, wow, we're really, really showing ourselves.
Because like I think only one of them, of the 4 packages, was listed as spicy, but all the other ones, like, they had spices, which were still
they're still spicy. Like I was trying to find ramen in Thailand that I could eat. There was none. Like, I took the most basic ass ramen I could find and tried to eat it, and didn't put any of like the spice powder in it, and it was still spicy.
That's amazing,
That
actually.
is amazing.
Well, I feel like that feeling was mutual with this ramen bar. But that was really fun. So, and then he did have food trucks, although something went kind of awry the first day. I feel like stuff just happens. But
Yeah, it does.
the food truck that he had reserved for the first day, they reached out on that day to say, "Oh, we just realized that we don't have a food license for your zip code that the hotel is in." So
Wow.
Business is hard. Like
It's rough, man.
I mean, we have friends who run a food truck here in Vegas. They did. They don't anymore. But like, so in Vegas, we actually have a bunch of different cities like within, and like yeah, every city has its own codes,
and you have to be like licensed in each one.
Yeah, and you have to be licensed, and the problem is like they don't always line up, so it's like you can't go to certain like cities even though you're in the same area. It's crazy.
Yeah,
that is.
And
crazy.
so the same thing kind of happened then. But the second day was totally fine. There was definitely a food truck there, and they were just right there at the hotel, and it was super delicious. There was tons of food.
So much food.
So much food.
Like the plates were like
that's very important.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, someone else who was there who I didn't mention, but Cat Talks Thai came as well.
I remember seeing that she was gonna.
Yeah, she acted as translator.
Yeah,
she's so
I love her TikToks. She is
sweet.
Amazing.
Yeah,
she's so sweet, so down to earth, super approachable, super friendly.
Yeah,
we love her.
Yeah, we were able to sit with her actually for both of the events. Yeah, and we were just chatting with her the whole time. She is so sweet and fun. Yeah. And so yeah, so apart from that, they inside the ballroom they did viewing, kind of like just viewing parties. And so for the first day it was kind of kin Porsche, and so the series would play, but everyone could like be watching or chatting. And
yeah, there were like little like photo stations set up around the room for like photo ops,
and they were themed after some BL things. So they had one that was kind of like the Tharn type, like tent scene with like the light.
Okay. Yeah.
Cute.
It was cute. And then it was Pride Month, so they had like a whole Pride set up.
I love that. Yeah.
Well, totally. Yeah. And there were tons of giveaways.
Yeah, they had bingo every hour, every couple hours, but with like really good prizes. Like really he had just gotten a hold of a bunch of the GMMTV light sticks.
Nice.
Yeah, they were
that
good.
Is so random. I love it. It's like just going to a BL con and playing bingo. Like,
it was a BL bingo. So I was like listing out like all the tropes, and it was fun because like it was actually like he did it through a website. It
was cute.
So all you had to do was like if you wanted to play, just scan a QR code that had been put on all the tables, and then like
a randomized board or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this way, every time everyone would get a different card, and like
that's
it was
amazing.
Great. Like people, like they'd win prizes, they'd swap prizes.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and then we were selling Polaroids because Kim does this thing where she has her desk, and it's a gorgeous white desk, but it's very plain. And so what she did was she bought a glass top, and she printed out Polaroids of all the BL actors she loves, and she fills her desk.
Yeah.
And she recently changed out her desktop. And so like just she has all these Polaroids that she doesn't need anymore. So we just sold them off, and like people are like using them like trading cards. Like, oh, you got that one, and like you're trading them, and we're just like, this is
I have my exclusive Polaroids.
Yeah, I have one Polaroid.
I see those.
My one Fort Pete Polaroid, and they are hugging a lamp for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
It's like with K-pop photo cards, they have like the most random object, and it'll make the card like 10 times more expensive because they're just like holding this random thing.
You're like, did you get the one with the fish? Yeah. It's like a Pokemon card that's like the holographic one.
Yeah.
Dude, I would die if I saw like a BL boy pairing photo card with like a fishbowl. I would literally die.
Maybe we should bring props.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
I get very specific Polaroids from you.
Right. Very specific requests.
Fish bowls, cactus. Yeah.
Oh, like all the things that in BLs when the camera needs to switch scenes and it
pans off too, We all know what it means. We all know.
No, you know. But
shoot.
yeah, overall I feel like BLCon, it was totally it was like completely fan put together. No one is actually like in industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so for what it was, like I feel like it was great.
It was really
Yeah,
fun.
good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I feel like I think still a little bit back and forth on if it's going to happen next year. I think Jacob has a lot of projects that he's working on with
Right.
so yeah, but hopefully if it does happen again, we would love to go again. I feel like when things start, I think it just started, right? I mean, it's tough. But I feel like when things get the opportunity to grow and we get to like
Yeah.
nurture that, that's when we really start to see the magic happen. So
Yeah.
I feel like the first convention was the first one and now it's the nurturing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we already have like ZeeNunew.
It needs to start somewhere, right? So, and you need
someone
to
has to
like,
take that first step.
Yeah.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
had it needs to be realistic and not too ambitious because ambitious is gonna like flame, like, yeah, crash and
Yeah.
burn, basically.
Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, we
So
were
yeah,
saying
BLCon. It was fun.
yeah. I just lost my train of thought.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I drink my water.
We were saying in our last episode that we recorded where we were talking about like first cow tongue, going to Brazil, and then we mentioned like the ZeeNunew con. It was like right before it actually happened. That like these cons happening, or these fan meets, I should say, these are more fan meets, happening successfully, like with ZeeNunew and First Cow Tongue and like Force Book are in Italy right now. I think it's just going to lead to a lot more fan meets happening outside of Asia in 2024. And it's going to be the same, I think, with like the conventions and stuff. Like seeing one con happen, albeit a small one, successfully is just going to like have people have more trust in them to happen again and allow them to grow and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely a good first step.
Yeah, and even inspire people to, you know, try on their own to do the same. And so,
I mean, we had ZeeNunew, but we even have the online Moss Bank one coming up.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
Yeah,
That's true.
The seeds have already been planted, right?
Happening.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'm just here in the cold.
I'm
not
so
expecting
sorry.
anything. I'm not invested. I'm not.
The Pixie's always saying, I need to move to Norway, but if
Yes.
you guys don't get any BLK,
You need to feel my pain, okay?
No BL, no K-pop.
Dude, come to Norway, move to Norway, and we will start the Lovecast Con. Okay?
Lovecast Con. Amazing.
Talking about ambition.
Yeah, for real.
That's so funny. I love it. Well, keep the dream alive.
Yeah.
Keep the dream alive. If you're lucky.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh man. And then you guys were asking about the ZeeNunew one, right?
Yeah, I know Kayla was really jealous because ZeeNunew was like there. That's Kayla's pairing. And when they saw that they were coming to LA, like we were testing a little bit, and like there was a while like they were like, should I just buy tickets to fly across the country and see ZeeNunew? But it was just like I was saying, it's like they announced it and then they went on sale so fast, and like it's one thing to buy the tickets, but then to also have to buy plane tickets and stuff like that.
And then
we were just like, it's not possible. But next time we know if they come. I was like, if they come anywhere on the East Coast, we will go. I will take you to ZeeNunew, Kayla. Like, you will make it happen.
Well, you know, for things that are in LA, like we said, we're just a hop, skip, and a jump away, and most likely we'll be going because it's so close. So we can always help with stuff too. So let us know.
Big group hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and I mean, me flying to America is cheaper than actually flying in America. Like,
how dumb is that?
Are so expensive. It's ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah,
we actually
I flew to America and back for $500.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So if anyone wants to like go on vacation to Europe, it's cheaper than going on vacation in America. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I did see the latest like flight hack to do now is to just get yourself out of the States.
Yeah.
Like fly
Yep.
anywhere in the world,
Yep.
just like do the little Google
Lot
map,
cheaper.
find a place, and then from there go to your travel destination.
Yeah.
And it will be
Yeah.
guaranteed cheaper than trying to get there from the United States.
What is going
Inland.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah, just get out of the States. That's all you have to do, and then you can go.
I mean,
When
and
we were-
hotels too in America are insanely expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're more expensive than Norwegian hotels, and we're known for being an expensive country.
Really? I'm like, have you heard about our
Yes.
egg prices? No, I'm joking.
But talk about that.
I've heard all about the eggs. I've heard all about the eggs.
No,
So
but
funny.
when
Well, that's
we
so
were,
crazy to hear.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to hear. Luckily we were able to drive. So,
Yeah.
and then even more luckily we were able to stay with family out there. So we really
helps
didn't
a
have
lot.
to
That
pay
helps.
for too much,
Yeah.
which was nice.
Mhm.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, the gas prices were insane.
Right?
That's one
But,
thing that's insane in Norway too.
Yeah,
Really?
like everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I have
so,
an
yeah.
electric car.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of fancy car.
Yeah.
Come
So
to
I guess
Norway.
We have electric cars in America too.
We have electric cars with charging stations, but no BL.
Right.
Yep. You have you have some sacrifices, okay?
That's too much of a sacrifice.
You can take the electric cars. I'll take the BL.
Well, we also do have healthcare. So I feel like either way this conversation goes, I will be winning it.
Picking and choosing priorities.
Well, if you think about it, like we don't have free healthcare and all this other stuff, but to exchange for that, they keep us happy with K-pop and BL. Whereas, like, they're like, yeah,
They're trying to distract you. They're distracting you.
I'll take
they
it.
are. They really are. Like, here's a good distraction.
No, I was kind of surprised because I had this eye thing, like infection. I still have it, and I'm on medication. And I paid $300 in medication so far over a couple of months. And then I got a letter telling me like, "Oh, you paid $300. Like, you don't have to pay anymore." So all the medication going forward, I'm just getting for free.
It's a win.
Yeah.
And all the visits to the doctor and stuff is also free. Like everything, like medical over 300 for free.
Wow. I mean, that does sound
That
really
is
amazing.
unheard of here in America.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
I know.
But we did have
come into Norway yet?
But I did live in America for a year. I did go to the doctor while I was there. It was expensive as all hell. I'm glad I have insurance.
Yeah. Ugh, man. Well,
Come to Norway! Yay!
I spent
We
enough
can
time-
bring the BL here, okay? The K-pop and the BL. We just need more people.
let's do it together. Oh man. So what did you guys hear about ZeeNunew?
I honestly haven't seen like anybody's like. I mean, I know you guys did your vlog,
Mhm.
and I think I saw maybe one other vlog, but like I haven't seen a lot of like recaps.
There
of
hasn't
people.
been a lot of talk.
I was watching people's stories and stuff as it was
Mhm.
happening, but I haven't seen like recaps of like how the event actually went and stuff like that, aside from like your guys' vlog and some other stuff here and there. So I know a lot of like people were there, like a lot of content creators that we follow were
There were so many content creators.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that more content wasn't put out about it. Like, considering,
right?
You know, I kind of have like a small theory that may not be like reality, but it's my small theory.
we exist in theories. Yes.
Yes, support that.
Okay,
Here for
I
it.
think that you do have like the crossover, I think, of K-pop and BL, right? And so you might have people who are used to having events and stuff like that with K-pop. So the idea of doing like a vlog is more familiar. But I think a lot of the a lot of the creators for BL are kind of like maybe like reaction videos or kind of like opinion type videos and things like that.
Commentary.
And it's not necessarily like the vlogging community. So so you have like a bunch of people that are there, but it's not necessarily like
That's not what they do.
their thing, right?
Yeah.
And so but it was interesting to me because we ran into so many and I really expected there to be like I kept looking for other people's vlogs because I want to be like, what did other people see? And like what other fun things did they catch? And there really wasn't a lot. So I totally feel that. But yeah, we can walk you through all of it. I think one of the unique things about this is that you know, to be honest, I haven't really been to like a fan meet before in general. So this was kind of like the first time for me. And going to it, what you said was true. It wasn't really advertised a lot. And I think that and I think that also part of that is not really knowing what to expect. It was kind of like one of those things where I guess if you're kind of like in fandoms that typically have these types of things, like maybe K-pop, you're kind of like, oh, I totally get this. Like, we're totally going to do a high touch. And meanwhile, when Banana and I were going, we're like, what's a high touch? Like, I had no clue. And so we kind of felt like we wanted to do our vlog kind of like explaining the process and then what everything was. Because for us, we kind of felt like we have no idea. We're very excited, but we have no idea.
Because it's interesting. Because like, we do have fan meets here in the U.S. with our like celebrities from different shows, but it's usually like a convention type setting.
Yeah,
and so I've been to like fan meets before, but you know they're like they're just actors. They're interacting with the audience. They're just answering questions. It's not like how Asian fan meets are, where like, okay,
performance.
They're gonna put on a performance with whatever talents they have. So like I was curious, like, you know, how far are we gonna be pushing these boys to, you know, entertain the audience? So yeah, it was just like, very interesting experience. It was a lot of fun. The ticket sales were tiered. You had like the VVIP who got to sit in with a sound check, get one-on-one photos and get a high touch. The VIP was like the next section back, and they got, I think, a high touch and then group photos, and then your regular audience who just got to attend the concert, I think.
Yeah. I think they also got to do high touch too, though, right? But wasn't it just like a walkthrough?
Maybe.
Like a wave type thing.
Yeah. And so
ZeeNunew are still just as pretty when they are right here in real life. It just blows my mind, like how these actors are just still so pretty in real life.
Like, I mean, the entire time you were in Thailand. Why am I standing next to this beautiful person?
I also think like it's really funny too because so for the first part of this, you know, we got food beforehand, and then basically there were the lines to get wristbands to get in. But a lot of this was waiting outside, and after you got wristbands, it was still waiting outside in order to get in for sound check. And the gaps between these two periods were like an hour, 2 hours. And it's like you didn't really want to like leave and come back because you're like in line, right? And you're trying to sit up close. So
like sound check was free for all seating. And a lot of people who didn't know that because they specifically paid for like, you know, first row, second row.
They were really panicked.
And not getting that seat for sound check. They were like, we saw a lot of
But I would say that's the only kind of like weird thing is I think there was some confusion over that. But I would say that it was hot. It was really hot. And so I was just like hot, humid. And then by the time we got to like the end of the performance and you're like going up to meet them, you're kind of like, I am like a melted cake. Like, come on.
Just think about how they probably felt too.
But they looked gorgeous.
They looked good.
That's how we were feeling like at the end of Jod Fears with Fluke, because like that boy was just like godly. Like he wasn't sweating at all.
Did not sweat.
What?
We're all like
Gorgeous.
red in the face,
Acclamation.
covered in a light layer of sweat. Like,
It's so unfair.
Right.
yeah.
I remember too,
Uh.
like I remember getting like my photo from the end, and I was like, I don't even want to see it.
Can't
I don't
post
wanna
this
know.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, the lighting was terrible. Like, cause like it was just on stage. They didn't set up any lights or anything. They just gave them chairs and like terrible lighting, but they still managed to look good in the terrible lighting. And you're just like, how?
It's like they were trained for this.
So unfair.
But
People
but
privilege.
basically, so getting in line for I would say that the only thing that I was confused on in the beginning that I'm still not sure about, to be honest, is so they had a table and the VVIPs had a line and VIPs had a line and then general admissions had a line for you to go up and get your wristbands. And then on the side was kind of like all the merchandise that they were selling for the event, which was just t-shirts. So it was just t-shirts for the
Right.
event. And what was kind of confusing is whether or not you had to have a wristband first in order to go buy merchandise, or if you could just go buy merchandise. And some people I know did go up there and were able to get merchandise without a wristband, but I still feel like it's unclear if that was actually the way it should have gone, or if there was just some
Like the people
confusion.
working were just like, whatever.
Yeah. And so that is still something that I am unsure about, but I think there was a lot of panic, right? People were really afraid. They wanted to make sure that they got merchandise. They didn't want to miss out on an opportunity. And so there was this sense of like, am I waiting in line? Am I going over here? And then, and I will say that there was like a little bit of confusion, I think, in the lines having to do with that,
Yeah.
which I feel like is fair. You know, it's like the one-time event, maybe, you know,
I mean, you're talking about this actually tangentish, but that reminded me, like outside, like again in the sense of community, so many people were giving away so much stuff.
Yeah, like they stayed up for days making freebies.
Yes, like they made thousands of like these like little bracelet thingies, and they were just like passing them out. Some girl made these gorgeous earring jewelries that she was like, "Oh, here, do you want one?" And then there was no name attached to this. It was like, "What I would buy?" Yeah. And then like other people have been staying up late all week to make this stuff, and there's like giant like body-sized duffel bags just full of stuff, and photo cards and stickers, and they were just passing them out.
And we were
and
like,
I'm just like,
you must have an Etsy. Like, can we like,
and no one's
so we can
attaching their
advertise?
name to these.
And they were like, no, I just did this for fun. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy talk.
Dude, it's
like much
crazy,
appreciated.
but it's amazing.
Like, does this happen at K-pop events?
Yes. Yeah.
Crazy.
Freebies are a big thing at K-pop concerts.
Wow. Yeah,
we missed out. Like we went to like
we went to BTS.
We went to BTS because they had that 4-day residency here in Vegas.
I hate you guys. I never got to see them.
And
I was gonna see them when COVID hit. Okay.
But like I said, we're not big K-pop fans, but we have one friend who's like total BTS stan, like in all their fan clubs, and she's like, "No, I'm coming to visit you, and we're going." And so she was able to actually, yeah. But we definitely went because I think she goes to all their concerts all the time. Like she was like, "We're going at this time to get in right away," so we missed out on the whole, I guess, K-pop community experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we missed it. Like so like that was a very new, like crazy experience for us. Just. Everyone just like here, and they had like people like if you got there early, there were people giving out like the big posters. And there was like holographic ones, there were glitter ones, and people were like so disappointed that they missed out on those.
Like we missed out on it, and I was really bummed. They were really gorgeous for ZeeNunew. I even went up to some people like, "Can I just take a picture of it?"
Can I just look? But
I just live the dream.
Yeah, there was that, and then they had the sound. Like once they let everyone in, and they had the sound check, and they came out and greeted everyone. They mostly. I was under the impression that ZeeNunew could speak a bit of English, but he stuck with Thai the entire time. Yeah,
he might have been nervous.
Yeah, it could have been. He was also very tired, and he's like, "I'm not going to sit here and butcher a language."
And also, I have no expectations.
I didn't either, but I was surprised. I was like, "Oh," because I thought he knew, so I would think like, "Oh,
like from what I've seen, I think he does have some knowledge of it. I know he's really good at like Mandarin. He speaks Mandarin pretty well, but I thought he also had some English knowledge. But you never know."
He said like a little bit here and there. But it was fun.
Yeah,
I
it was
think
still a lot of
that
fun.
yeah,
They
yeah.
had a translator behind the scenes. And so it would just be
Yeah.
like this like mystical voice that would float out
Just
translating
coming out from
everything.
overhead. Yeah.
Yeah, just coming out from nowhere. It was just like after they say stuff.
I feel like some of the oh sorry, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna jump into so during the I guess actual performance after sound check, when everyone kind of like migrated to their own seats and it all kind of started, I think that some of the games and things that they played, I don't know if they fully knew beforehand
I don't think they knew any
everything
of the games,
exactly they'd be doing.
Yeah.
And so, but it led to, I think, a lot of kind of humor with it.
Really?
So we did,
Right.
one of it was like improv. So I think people had put like ideas into a hat and then they'd get drawn out.
Yeah.
And
Right.
one of them, I think one of the ones in our vlog was kind of like where it was kind of like, okay, like Z, you're like a bad boy and you're like hitting on ZeeNunew or whatever, right? But they had this like sound booth where they would play like music unexpectedly though. So it would be just kind of like they'd be in the middle of talking and then there would be like a dong. And like each time
Like
they were
BL
just trying
sound effect.
It broke them, like they'd stop and they're just like, or the music would be going, it would fade out, it would just stop, and they're just like,
Hello.
And like there was a part where like ZeeNunew, he was just trying so hard not to laugh, like to like rein it in to like get it back together because it's like it was
Yeah,
just
what,
so
what,
funny.
What was that full prompt for Z? It was like you're a bad boy, but something. And it was like whatever that thing was, it was like conflicting. You're like a bad boy, but you're like sweet, or it was like it was something. And Z was like,
oh, romantic.
Romantic. Oh, I'm a bad boy, but I'm like, and he was just like,
He was trying to process like what it meant. He was so funny. They both were just so fun together. I think they just took everything in stride and they really were just having fun with everything that they were doing. And I also think that like some of like the translations, like I feel like lost in translation sometimes, right? So I think one of the other improv things was kind of like, okay, like a ghost story. But the interpretation of that ended up being Z pretending like he was getting possessed by like ZeeNuw's ghost. and so he was just kind of cute, like
and then he's like, what is that? And he's like, it's you.
Yeah.
Couldn't you tell?
Yeah, couldn't you tell?
And so I feel like there were a couple things like that like maybe again, like I said, maybe like a little lost in translation, but actually because of it were just really, really cute, you know?
Another funny one was they actually did have a giant board outside the venue.
Yeah.
A lot of the fan groups had put together like little photo booths. There were giant boxes to drop off gifts. There was like a huge banner where you could sign. And then there was a board with sticky notes that was like you could write a note to Z and ZeeNunew. It was actually asking, write a question you would like them to answer. That was not clear in the instructions. So that board came in on stage later, and then they were like, we're going to choose some fan questions from this board.
But there weren't any.
Most of them were
writing notes.
comments. Oh, we hope you enjoy. We love you. Thank you for coming. Like there were no questions on this board, and they're like picking them. You know, and Z and ZeeNunew are like, okay, questions. But every time it wasn't a question, I think ZeeNunew just kept getting more and more sassy about it, which is really funny. He's like, that wasn't a question, and they're like, okay, last question, and he's like, but we didn't get any questions yet. Like,
and he like they finally like picked one more, and it was another like just thank you so much for coming type of a note, and like ZeeNunew just kind of paused and he was like, that still wasn't a question, but we love you. It was so cute.
Yeah, they handled everything
funny.
really well.
Yeah, they were so cute. I think the crowd was really excited. You know, they did a lot of musical performances during it, and I was like genuinely surprised how many people in the audience could sing along.
Yeah.
I also feel like there were a lot of people from Thailand who came
people from
for
Thailand
it.
flew out here for this.
Wow.
Yeah, which was really surprising. Yeah. Okay. We were actually sitting next to some, so that was kind of fun. So we could kind of, you know, they were kind of like chatting about some things, and also it was kind of fun, kind of following them, because in my mind I was kind of like, oh, like they are used to this, so they kind of like like what are they doing, right? Like, and so so that was kind of cool. Yeah. And yeah, what else? I mean, I feel like there was so much. It's hard to go back and like recap.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
the
was
games? Oh,
improv.
like the ball game?
Yeah, they had to like throw the ball and catch it, and for every catch they made, like the audience would win a Polaroid, I think.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
had like
Oh,
prizes where if
nice.
they succeeded in a game, the audience would win.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There was that. They had the like that thing you put your hand in and you ask the question, and if you're lying, it shocks you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They did that, and Z did not like that.
The question that they asked like was I think people are just asking silly questions, but they'd be like does like Z, do you love Nunu, right? And so like Nunu thought that was really funny. She was like, do you love me? And then Z was kind of like, yes, right?
And then he got shocked.
But he got
And then it
shocked.
shocks him.
And
Yeah.
he was like so confident. He's like, this is the truth. This is the answer. He wasn't expecting to get shocked. So when it did, it really shocked him. Like he actually like
Flew out of the
flew
chair.
out of the chair, like was crouched on the side, like
Aw.
afraid.
And then he immediately went over and picked up the device and went to give it away to the audience.
Yep.
He's like, no, we're done with this.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
love that.
That's so funny. But actually, Nunu did it after that, and but Nunu
He
did
got
it
shocked?
after that, and then Z's kind of like, "Do you love me?" And then Nunu was like, "I think it's
No.
gonna shock me anyway." No. And then it shocked him.
And then it was funny
Right.
because then the host of the event was like, all right, well, we still have like, you get 3 chances. And Z was just like, all right, then you go. Like he was like, nope. And so
Over it.
like, and she got shocked as well. So and consensus was broken.
It was out to get everyone that day.
Mhm.
It was really
Yeah.
funny though.
Yeah.
Plot
Because yeah,
twist-
he did. He like
plot twist. Everyone is
even-
lying.
yeah, he's like just touching it by the straps. He like picked it up and just like gave it away
Mhm.
to some very lucky audience member. So
Yeah. It was so funny. But they were really awesome. Live, their singing was really amazing. I think like I don't know, like sometimes like I kind of think like, oh, they can sing. I'm really, excited for it. But I feel like there were a lot of moments where I was just sitting there like, wow, like they are both really good. Like, and then specifically there were some parts that like Nunu sang, and I was just like, wow.
He's such a good singer.
that man is a
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so that was really cool. And I felt like it was really surreal sometimes. Like I was kind of like, wow, I'm here and I'm like listening to Z and Nunu like sing live. I don't know. It was really
in this
surreal.
small theater, like
Yeah.
like even there's a big crowd, like it was small enough where it's like they're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people that we've kind of chatted with since have talked about how this was a really unique experience in that, going back from that event, Naughty Babe was airing and, they're watching it, but they're thinking like, it's actually like weird now. Like, it's almost like these people became real to me. Not that they weren't before.
Seen them
they're
in real
obviously
life.
actors.
But yeah, I actually like
Yeah.
seen them. Like I sat next to them in person.
Now you're watching them on your computer again.
Now you're watching them back on
Like,
TV, and some people like they're like, I don't know if I like that. Like,
yeah.
I'm thinking too hard.
Yeah.
No, but it's
I
like
think
it's like if you
Yeah.
like go to a concert and you hear like your favorite song live, and then you have to go back to like just hearing it in like your headphones again. You're like, it's not right. It should only be heard live. You should only be seeing ZeeNunew in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so at the end people got to go do, they kind of had an organized fashion of having the general admissions people go up to do their high touches, and then the VVIP go up to their high touches, and then their group photos, and then also and then VVIP to do their individual photos and high touches. And it was really systematic, very organized. I don't know, it was so organized. To be honest, it was so organized. I'm gonna admit this. You like go up and they had both of the boys in chairs and like a chair in the middle. So we had VVIP.
You sit in the middle.
And you sit in the middle, right? And this whole time I was thinking to myself,
ZeeNunew sandwich.
But I'd been kind of like panicking because I was like, I really didn't think about how to pose. I should have. I don't know. I was thinking, I don't know what to do. And then walking up, I kind of thought too, like, I actually wanted like a moment to like take in like be like, oh, like
Mm.
look at a face and like look at a
But they
face
were
and
kind
be
of
like,
rushing it, like,
I'm
hurry up,
here.
go.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were rushing it. That honestly, I feel like I was like a scared little mouse. I think I just like was up there. I was in my chair. I was like, and then I was like,
And then you
and then I
go.
was
Yeah.
on, right?
Yeah.
And so I do feel a little bit sad about that because I feel like I didn't have like a minute to kind of like
Really
actually
take
like
in and appreciate the
Mhm.
experience.
yeah, I
Mhm.
felt just
Yeah.
kinda maybe with fan meets in the future, maybe it would feel a little bit different, like, I've been through it once, so now I can, like, not be nervous about it,
Yeah,
you
because like
know?
the
Yeah. You
only
know
the,
what
the
to
only like
expect.
visceral memory I
Yeah.
have from that is well, first of all, I personally think high touches are weird, especially post COVID.
Yeah.
So I was wearing like a sweater, and so like I had my like sweater covering my hands because I was like, I know they're hot and sweaty. I don't want to touch their hands.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like high touches are awesome, but like yeah, like we are not actually doing any skin to skin contact here. No, thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
Yeah. That and then I just remember when I sat down between them, I could feel their body heat. Like those poor boys were so
So
hot
hot.
after that
Yeah.
performance. You need to put back on like all those layers.
Yeah, because they're really
Yeah.
fashionable. So they're wearing, like, 3 layers and, like, a leather jacket. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah. So I just remember like sitting there and just like feeling the thing. And I couldn't even but what I will say to them is they are really great at improvising to match everyone's poses. So like everyone's sitting there and they'll like bust out something and they immediately like will go into like match,
Adapt
like
with it.
adapt with it and run
Yeah.
with it. And so but they were very strict on like once you get your high touch, don't touch the actors.
Yeah.
Like so they were saying like if you're doing that heart thing, like you couldn't actually like there needed to be a bit of distance
Yeah.
type
That's
thing.
good to know.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Which yeah, totally makes
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, they were just really great at like adapting to everyone's last minute like panicked poses type thing.
Yeah.
I do remember there was one girl that came out and she was wearing like a cape and she sat down and just like threw the hood up and just sat there with it. And I remember like I distinctly remember they both kind of looked at her and they were like
They both did, like, zombie like it was really funny.
but yeah, like yeah, it's just great to see like how good they are at just kind of like going with whatever situation and running with it.
Yeah. I should say too that they were both really tired. They were
Right.
both
I
really jet
bet.
lagged. But
Yeah.
they did not like, they are true showmen, right? Like, they were totally there. They were totally present for everything that was happening. At the end, even though when I do remember going to sit between them thinking, like, they're beautiful and tired. I remember, like, that thought crossing my mind, but they're there and they're they wanna make it really great for everybody, and I think I really just got the sense that they really appreciated and were really just happy to be there despite being tired, and I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're lucky that you got to like go to this first one because I think like it's if they do more, it's just gonna get bigger and bigger and harder to have like
Yeah.
these more intimate
Yeah.
personal connections through the fan
Yeah.
meets. So
Yeah.
I mean,
what
well, since
I was just gonna ask, like, what was the like price of the tickets?
Oh, yeah, what was it? 180?
no, I think with fee, oh god. Hang on. Just hold.
She bought the ticket, she'll pull it up.
Ooh,
So there were different tiers. I don't know if I'm gonna remember the cost of the other tiers. But let's
I
see.
remember when I saw them, I felt like they were more reasonable than I expected they would
they
be.
were more reasonable than
Yeah.
expected. Our biggest
Compared to
fear was
K-pop.
because it was we were scared because it was through Ticketmaster and Ticketmaster always like withholds tickets.
Notoriously, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was our big fear was like if they do that, like if we can't get tickets, like what price we were willing to upsell to. But I think
Yeah.
because it wasn't such a huge rush in the beginning, they re-released the tickets.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
We're almost there. Sorry.
No, you're okay. My
Well, while
God,
she's
good
looking
keep talking.
yeah,
Yeah,
while
I'll interrupt.
Yeah.
no, while she's looking for that though, so okay, so you guys have both been to K-pop concerts and had kind of like the similar type of event, right?
I've
Yeah.
tried, but I've
Yeah.
never been. I've tried. I'm
What do you guys
tiny
just
bit
out of
bitter, but
curiosity, what do you guys like and dislike about fan meet type of things?
So I didn't think definitely like with my K-pop concerts that I've been to, they've mostly just done high touch. And I've had it I think for 2 or 3, and I think the rushing is always
It's
a
hard.
big thing that people mention. Like I have a distinct memory of I went to see the K band Day 6 in 2018. Um, one of like my favorite Korean groups, and
Yeah,
I
that's
tried to say
amazing.
like, yeah, I tried to say like I was going through the high touch and like tried to say like a full sentence to like my bias, and the security guard like essentially pushes you along if you say like more than like hi, thank you, or I love you, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's, and honestly, like, I get, they're doing it for artist protection and safety
Yeah.
reasons and things like that. So I get it to an extent, and they're trying to keep everything going in like a timely manner. But I do think it's kind of like, you know, you're seeing these artists that like mean a lot to you, and then like
Mm.
I feel like I don't even have like distinct memories of like actually
Yeah.
seeing them because it goes
Yeah.
so fast. You're like, did I even see your face?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I wasn't
But
looking at that.
yeah.
I was so focused on like get the high touch, get the photo, get the high touch, get the photo.
Yeah. It's like,
And
is my hand in the right place? Like
Yeah.
this was
it
pre-COVID
makes
too,
sense to me.
so
This kind of makes sense to me because I've seen a lot of videos, so at kind of like the fan meets that are in Thailand. And I
hmm
actually in the past used to think it was kind of like a little, I don't want to say like funny, but like I noticed it. But people would always be going through with their phones, right? And then they would
to
be
like
like
record the
being in
experience,
touch.
yeah.
And I used to think like, gosh, it's so funny. We're like such a phone culture right now.
We
Like,
were told we
hmm
couldn't do that.
well,
I remember we were told like when we were doing like here for ZeeNunew, they were like no phones.
but I
Yeah,
was
I that's
thinking
how it
I
was at mine that I've
understand
gone
why
to.
people do that now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
Because such an
remember.
You're not
fast
gonna remember.
experience. Yeah, that, and you're probably just, I don't know, it's like you don't necessarily feel completely present in that moment, right?
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, I
hmm
mean, when
hmm
we were doing our interviews and like meeting these actors in real life, like we don't remember anything from doing that. Like
You're like
it
all on
was
adrenaline.
oh, it's like thank God we have like film of it.
Yeah.
Evidence, it did happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
She found the
Yeah.
prices for
All
it.
right. Prices. To just attend the concert and get the high touch, it was $100.
Mm,
VIP was 180, and then VVIP was 250.
okay.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah, that's
bad.
not bad.
I don't know if you guys watch Korean dramas at all or do anything in
Mm,
that realm.
mm.
Mhm.
But the actor Jung Hae-in, he's done like DP, One Spring Night. He's like I don't know where I was gonna go with that. He's like a really well known like Korean actor, I guess, is just to put
Mhm.
it simply.
Yeah.
But he did like a little US fan meet.
Oh,
And
cute.
I really liked a lot of his drama. So I was like looking at going because he was going to New Jersey. The
Mm.
general admittance tickets started at $200 for like the upper like section, and then with the fees for the site that they use, it was going to be like $300 just for like the
Wow.
basic general admission, like nosebleed section of the theater. And I was like, I just like that's I can't justify that right now.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, it's expensive.
they I was following the event, just like to see how it went, and like the theater had like maybe the first like 10 rows filled just because like the
Oh.
Mm.
tickets were so ridiculously like priced. And I'm like, I feel like it's hard to find a balance of like you need to charge enough to, I guess from their perspective, make money off of the event and
Yeah.
make it more worthwhile, but also like if you're making it priced so high that fans can't even afford to go, then you're
Mm.
going to be operating at a loss anyways. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
So,
I was surprised that the ZeeNunew ones were like a lot more reasonably priced than I expected them to be, and it was
Mm.
nice to see. Um, I think that like we've seen happen with K-pop, if we start getting more BL fan meets and cons, they're gonna start getting more expensive.
yeah.
Um, but it was nice to like at least I start out at like a range at like for what you're getting and like the experience. I
Mm.
feel like 250 is like
Yeah, it's
pretty
a good
manageable
price.
Yeah.
expectation. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be like the venue too, because
Mm-hmm.
it was in a theater, but it's a theater that's in a church. So I don't
Interesting.
necessarily know if this place is like
That
a
was what I was
venue
saying.
venue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Mhm.
definitely and I guess I'm saying this because like all here like our venues in Vegas are all like concert venues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
Mm-hmm.
or they can be converted into like, like rodeo stages, like
Mm-hmm.
they're they're not your classic theater stage where it's like, you know, you've got theaters, you got the curtains, and you've got like velvet seats about like it's so like I feel like in Vegas like it's probably a unique thing for me to be like, oh, we're actually here in a theater. And then it was just weird that it was in because California, the history of California, they have like missions built up along the state to convert all the local Indians. And I just because I grew up in California, so I was like, oh yeah, it's weird that it's happening at one of the missions. But the theater was gorgeous. Like but yeah, it was just weird that it was taking place at a mission. But I mean, that probably also did help to keep the cost down as well.
So it's not like an actual like venue. That's interesting.
But I do think that made it, I would say, well, if I'm just talking about that, because it was that way, I think that's also why a lot of the waiting had to be done outside.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't like the type of venue where you can just go inside and like loiter.
And there's like like a hall
or space to like wander.
Yeah, it's like you're literally like waiting for the doors to open, like let me into the AC.
You were in the theater.
I had the same experience going to see Trash Taste podcast live in Oslo. That was in a small like theater venue, and we had to wait outside before we got in, and we had to stand in line for the merch booth before we got to like where we sat, and that was $2.52 for the VIP tickets.
Was it?
Yeah.
I remember I think the only podcast I've ever done was Welcome to Night Vale. They went on a tour and they actually ended up their performance was at the local community college.
You went to that?
Yeah. And it was only like $20, probably because it was at a college location. So like, no, you gotta keep the tape if you're gonna be working it with us. So it was only $20, but they did it at night, like pretty late at night. And it was a cool experience to see that. But because it was there, like, you know, it was more indoors and stuff. So
it is tough thinking about like how things are eventually gonna price up.
I'm not looking for like I'm excited for the growth of BL to happen in America as they bring more, but I'm not looking forward to like the prices and then the crowds
going up. I mean, fingers crossed that this is the exception. I don't know.
Attend one before another one before things start getting too crazy.
Well, it'll be like better to just go to Thailand and go to the fan meets there. It'll be cheaper at some point.
Probably,
You're totally right.
I think just what's hard about that is there won't be a translator to explain everything that's going on.
You'll be on your own.
I think like in America, I think like in America, you guys will. When it gets more popular, you guys will have problems with people buying tickets than reselling them for higher prices. That doesn't happen in Norway because it's against the law of the whole country. Like you can't sell a ticket for more than you bought it for.
All right, another plus for Norway.
But you have to have things.
You have to have things to buy.
That's awesome. We can get all the BL fans here, and it'll be enough people that we can get some BL boys here. Okay.
Do it.
You guys have fun.
So you guys are on another level of Delulu.
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like we've been really lucky this year. I think a lot has happened, and I think that we are, of course, starting to see online fan meets kind of pop up. And I mean, hopefully they do really well. So, you know, that can, continue and be more of a thing as well. I do think that, you know, in-person fan meets great, but online fan meets will probably maybe be a little bit cheaper for people who like just can't travel across the US, which I think is also a challenge.
This Moss Bank one, the general admission is just $20.
And the ones where you get like the phone fan calls with them, I thought were like really reasonably priced.
60 and 90, I think is what
it's
for.
But
have you guys ever done one-on-one calls with like a K-pop person or an actor or anything like that?
Not if you don't include our interviews, like which are technically one-on-one phone calls.
No, I haven't either. I guess I was just thinking that anytime I've ever thought about, well, I've always thought in the past, like would I? And I don't know that I would, but I was thinking, what am I gonna say in a minute?
Yeah.
I've always
Yeah.
had this thought of like, I literally have no clue.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
we
thinking
have
about like the fan
scripts.
sign calls for K-pop. I could never like. I don't know. I think of like doing the podcast as something very different from like
Oh,
if I were to
totally.
win like a fan sign call with like my favorite K-pop idol, I would just be sitting there like,
Yeah, I don't
I don't
think
know
I
what to
could do it
say.
because I'm awkward and enough as it is when we're interviewing these boys. Like, I could not do like a one-on-one. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
it is like
never
a
had the
different
experience.
frame of mind. I think
Mhm.
obviously when we're all doing interviews, like it's kind of different. And I think maybe that's also why it's challenging to think of like,
Yeah, it's fun. It's one thing
you
to like
know,
see them and then like, oh, I get an opportunity to talk to them, but it's like, okay, but now what? Like
Yeah.
thinking past
I
that.
want
And
to
I'm just like,
express
I
myself.
couldn't. Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm very I recognize within myself that I typically struggle to carry on a conversation with people I'm not comfortable with. And
Mhm.
I mean, as fun as it would be, like one-on-one time with Moss Bank, I'm like, I don't know them. Like I can do interviews just fine. I can carry on a conversation then.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
sense. Like, as a fan, I'm like,
It's just like to have like a conversation with no script, no
yeah,
question to
yeah.
ask.
Nope,
Be
that's
like,
too hard. No, thank you.
that's so funny.
I will say having a one-on-one with Moss Bank, like Bank is gonna talk all the time anyway, so it's fine. You'll be fine. He'll hold the conversation, okay?
yeah.
That's so funny.
From personal experience.
He's got this. You don't even have to worry.
No.
He will
Genuinely
He's
take
got
the
it.
fan call.
He's got it.
That's so funny.
No, but this was so fun, guys.
Yeah.
We've been talking for a little over an hour, and it's getting late here, and I know Alexa has a lot to do, and we kind of sprung this on you guys, so you probably have stuff to do too.
Yeah. Whenever you need
So-
us.
Yeah, Beal Chill's down for a good
Yeah.
We love it.
So
Yeah.
everyone should head on over to BL and Chill. You guys have a YouTube, right?
We do.
And with vlogs and interviews and podcast episodes. And you have podcast episodes on all the normal podcast platforms.
Podcast land. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll put all the links
And
in
then
the
we have a
description
Twitter
like
where
we
we
always do.
Yeah, we have our Twitter for like more of like the fan, like every episode
Fun
and
stuff,
just like
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and then there's Instagram to keep up on what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we'll put everything in the description. So guys, go check them out.
And then Pixie
and
and Banana and Kim are doing their Playboy recaps every Sunday. So
Yeah, please join
if you
us.
want to
They're
share
super
your
fun.
thoughts with them. Make
we
sure to
have
tune in.
theories, okay? It's good.
We have serious theories. We've already decided.
Yeah.
We know what's gonna
Decided
happen.
the plot.
So that way the show was wrong.
Yeah, dude, if it ends any other way, like, it's wrong, and we've already written the right ending, so it's fine.
Oh, God.
No,
We are
this
just
was great, guys.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
And everyone listening, make sure to like do the whole subscribe and like and whatever. It
Comment
really
for
helps
the
us out.
algorithm.
Yes, and we do have a Patreon, which I need to mention. Alexa is doing her very own first reaction series.
Last Twilight. I am
On our
I
Patreon.
am the
What series?
selected certified Jimmy C trash of Lovecast, so I'm doing Last Twilight
Okay.
right now.
How did you react to that final scene? Have you watched the last episode?
Watched it yesterday.
We lost our minds too.
Yeah.
Go on Patreon and check it out. Alexa, you don't get to
no
say anything.
spoilers.
No spoilers, but I lost my mind.
We also have reactions of me doing Only Friends, and Kayla did Naughty Babe, and she also has like they also have the Kin Porsche reaction from when that aired on there. So there's lots to go through and lots of fun. Yeah. And our
Awesome.
Discord. Be sure to go to our Discord. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of talking. We like have a chat, like a channel for every show. There's a lot of active people, a lot of fun, and yeah.
That's so
Did I
exciting.
go through everything now without a script?
I think that's everything.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, we will be back with more. We still have Thailand content coming, so
Yeah.
we have more interviews, and Heather obviously just went back to Thailand, so there'll be interviews from that coming as well. So more Thailand stuff, more regular episodes coming in the new year when we actually have time to
BL
record again.
Awards, everything
BL
is coming.
Awards. Our favorite shows of the year is coming soon. That's always a fun one. I think everyone my lists are always so predictable because I scream about my favorites online the entire time they're airing, but it's fine.
I'm pretty predictable too.
So yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up and say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
Banana Care.
Thank you guys.